Assalamu alaikum, ni ne Abubakar Abdulhamid MB. Previous video mun fara yin differentiation, yanzu za mu ci gaba. Now polynomials. So let us say an ba mu function f of x equals to sine x. Mun san cewa idan aka ba mu function mu gano derivative din shi, for example 5x cubed, kawai za mu multiply by the power which is 15 yanzu and subtract 1 from the power which is 2, 3 minus 1. So what about irin wannan? Still za mu koma first principle wadda muka gano cewa muna iya multiply by the power and subtract 1 from the power forever wani function mai irin wannan. For example, nan n ce, kawai mu ce n minus 1 shine derivative din. So wannan shine. In this case za mu ƙara applying first principle din nan. Wata ce f prime of x, there's something as limit as h approaches 0, na f of x plus h minus f of x all over h. So irin wannan, menene f of x plus h? Mun dai sai f of x is sine x. What is f of x plus h? F of x plus h, sorry, I'm making this mistake. Za mu je nan ciki mu saka x plus h mu gano ta da inda x take. So this is something as sine x plus h. So daga nan mun ce always za mu expanded f of x plus h din mu. Menene wannan f of x plus h? Mun san cewa what is sine x plus h? Menene zai ba mu idan muka expanded din shi? Mun san cewa akwai rule da ta ce sine a plus b, there's something as sine a cos b plus cos a sine b. And I guess the x din mu ita ce a, b din mu ita ce h. So that may copy and directly this is something as sine x cos h plus cos x sine h. Wannan shine. So from here mun yi expand wannan haka ne sai mu koma cikin formula mu saka. So this means f prime of x is something as limit of wancan function now as h approaches 0. F of x plus h is 1 now. So this is sine x cos h plus cos x sine h. Then what? Minus f of x. Minus f of x. And f of x is sine x. So this is something as minus sine x divided by h. So from here akwai like terms. Sine x da wannan sine x din suna ɗan kama. So za mu iya haɗe su wuri guda. Idan muka haɗe su wuri guda, this is something as sine x cos h, waccan ta dauna. Sine x, then we have plus cos x sine h over h. So akwai sine x, then we factor in one sine x out. So this is limit as h goes to 0. Sine x, muna da what? Cos h minus 1, then plus cos x sine h. All of them over h, let me separate. Let me one sine h in as it goes to 0 ba ruwanta da sine x, because sine x in ba ta da wani relationship da h, amma da ruwanta da cos h minus 1 because there is h over h. So akwai rule na limit in ba manta ba, ya ce limit as h goes to 0 as it is simply like this, lim x goes to 0 1 minus cos x over x is equals to 0. So one is applicable here. Did the chow minus 1 now negative 0 is just 0. So this is applicable. So sine this is 0. So therefore sine x times 0 is 0. So whole of this is 0. Because cos h minus 1 over h limit is 0. 0 times 1 sine x then is 0. So one function here actually. And abin da ya rage shine limit as h goes to 0. Now what? Cos x sine h over h. Mun ce akwai rule again na limits wadda ce limit of sine x over x when x goes to approaches this from where approaches 0 is 1. I'm very sorry, this is 1, so 1 away is 1. It is 1 now, so cos x times 1 is simply cos x. Wannan nature derivative of sine x is cos x. Haka za ka ga derivative of cos x din again in the same way. Sai dai kasancewa inda cos x plus h gare ka akwai rule za ka yi expanding din shi cos x sin x minus something like that, minus cos h sin h, something like this. Oh sorry, sin, okay, something like this, na tan and so on. Any trigonometric function that you find shi a gano wannan. So this is it. Additionally, for example, idan mutum yana da function 1 over x square, menene derivative din? Wannan ɗaya yake da wannan abin ɗaya yake da x to the power of -2. So now you can multiply by the power, which is -2. Subtract 1 from the power. -2 minus 1 is -3. Za ka iya yanzu wannan shine derivative din f prime of x din like this. Okay, so yanzu ɗaya yake da -2, still ta dawo sama saboda ta dawo ƙasa saboda negative gare ta ɗaya ne, ko kuma haka both of waɗannan kowane derivative ɗin ne. So wannan shine differentiation. What if we have something like this? Muna da functions guda biyu, mun iya gano derivative of f of x. What about idan muna da f of x times g of x? What is the derivative of this? What is the derivative of one function? For example, one h of x then, because this. What is h prime of x then? So first of all, akwai yadda za mu yi musamman ne limit as h goes to 0 na f of x. Now yanzu f of x plus h ne da kuma wannan shi ma g of h, then minus f of x bracket g of x over h. Wannan shi ne kawai yanzu derivative din. So za mu iya ɗan trick haka mu ce, for example, f of x plus h g of x plus h, that makes a minus f of x plus h bracket g of x. When we subtract the issue, we have to add to balance f of x plus h g of x, say then minus f of x g of x, all of it divided by h. Abin da yasa ne wannan the same thing ne copying, amma na ƙara irin wannan, sai nan kuma na yi subtracting din shi kuma na yi adding din shi, so ban yi komai a nan ciki ba. Trick din shi ne don in samu factorizing f of x plus h waje. So daga nan idan na factorizing f of x plus h, ina da me a cikin bracket g of x plus h minus what? G of x. Ana. Then what? Plus. Now kuma zan iya factorizing in g of x waje. Okay? G of x, akwai g of x na, akwai g of x na. Zai kasance muna da f of x plus h minus f of x. Yes, minus f of x all over h. Wannan mabarin wari sun masu h din su saboda h din gaba ɗaya. Sorry, wannan h din ta ɗan ɓoye. Divide by h. So wannan na cewa da mun lura da wannan abun yayi kama da first principle idan function ɗinmu is g of x. So ɗaya yake da kawai g of x plus h minus g of x all over h, limits ɗin as h goes to 0. So wannan na cewa kamar g prime ne. One now is g prime. So here we have f of x plus h times what? G prime. Alright? Am I making sense here? this should be f of x plus h. Yeah, I think so wannan ɗaya yake da wannan kuma g prime ne, because limits ɗin ina manta da limit ɗin as h goes to 0, so this is something as g prime plus g of x. Wannan kuma yana kama da f prime of what? Of x. So this one has to be f of x. So problem is shine as the limit approaches 0, muke applying here h is 0, so za mu iya goge ta final stage din ne. So wannan yana nuna cewa idan muna da product of two functions, muna son mu ga derivative din shi, so kawai za mu ce f of x function in farkon times g prime of x, that means derivative function of u plus g of x, one function in times f prime of one function. So wannan ita ce product rule. Let me write it here. Wannan na cewa kawai idan muna da two functions na multiplying one another, so wannan na cewa this is g prime of x plus g of x f prime of x. Haka yanzu na dividing one another, wani yana dividing na ƙasa, za ka iya bin the same way kai proving wannan, kai proving quotient rule. Wannan proof ne na product rule. So for example, let us say we have a function h of x, which is 3x squared plus 2 bracket 5x squared plus 1. Until we gano derivatives. One of them, let it be f of x and one of them g of x, because one function is multiplying one. So rule in shine musamman f of x. F of x is 3x squared plus 2. So it is times g prime of x, that means derivative of g. Derivative of g is multiplying by 2, you have 10x. Derivative of 1 is 0, means derivative no constant, any number is 0. Say from the formula again, and plus g of x. What is g of x? Is 5x squared plus 1. Then times f prime, meaning f then, 3x squared plus 2. So prime is multiplied by the power by the 6x to the power of 1 is simply 6x, then times 2. Okay, time plus the derivative of 2 is 0 because it is a constant. So this is h prime of x. H prime of x, derivative of one function. So abinda mutum zai yana shine simplification, expansion. If you multiply 10x through one, zai kasance 30x cubed plus 20x plus 6 kuma ya shigo nan wurin zai kasance again